All right, what is going on, MK boards? Welcome back to the next set of matches we've got in this best of three, coming at you with Kinetolic Gaming versus Vellichor.
What's up, everyone? This is Torp. You guys were just hearing Zexous on the mic. But the reason why this match actually has so much weight to it is that, these teams have been competing for CP for the entire year, right? And all these tournaments, it's been adding up. And VC actually joined the series pretty late. And that means that every other team got a head start over them, but they've been clawing their way up. And the reason why they've been grinding so hard is because the top 8 teams at the end of the year make it into a tournament bracket just for them. And that's going to be going on, I think, like November to December. And VC is right on the verge of cracking that top 8. And if they win this match, they'll have enough CP to qualify for top 8. But if they lose, then they won't make it. And the only team standing in their way just so happens to be the team that I play for, Team Dara. So I am heavily invested into this match, and I'm going to try not to be biased, but deep down, I really want KG to take this one.
Oh, perfect. And as you were saying before, Vellichor, they didn't play Spring Split, but they did all the mini tournaments and completely grinded them out. I believe they had a strong showing in every tournament they played, too. Ranking,
sure.
I think, top 8 in almost every tournament. And then, going into, Summer Split and really cracking the top 8 again, it's a really strong showing again for Vellichor. So obviously expecting good things coming out of them coming into this match.
Yeah, they've definitely proven, repeatedly that they can compete with the rest of the teams in the top 8, and for them it's just a matter of, getting those tournaments in, getting enough CP, and just being active enough as a team. And I have casted this exact matchup once before in one of those side tournaments, but this time the lineups for both teams are actually a little bit different, so I guess we could segue into that real quick.
Let's take a quick look at KG's lineup here. We're looking at Havo, Luke, Jake, Mura, and Shaka.
Yeah, a really solid lineup. I like how everyone in this lineup kind of has a set role that they play. I watched Luke's POV of the last best of 3 KG played, and he really just they kind of like clear out room for him. He's kind of like the running back, and Jake, Mura, and Java all kind of just clear out space so he can drive and hold his items and put up big points. And Jake and Mura are really good at creating space in the pack where they need to and still getting top spots, whereas Java is the guy that you'll usually see in the back for the most part in this lineup, shagging people and maybe eventually catching up at the end. But they really have like their whole system figured out with this lineup. It works really well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this lineup obviously has been proven to be strong in the past and will no doubt be strong again in this match, with like all these players obviously playing together. Personally speaking, I don't know too much looking at Shaka, though. I don't think I've heard that name in the past.
Yeah, we usually would see Ryu there, but I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. I think Shaka has enough experience that I don't think there will be too much of a what am I trying to say? I don't think that this match will be decided by who the better bagger is.
Fair enough. And going into the next lineup, we'll see who VC's decided to bring out. VC is running with Dane, Ken, Neo, Sane, and Ornan, which is, a pretty typical VC lineup you'd expect from the pull. And I believe, would that be Ornan bagging, I assume, for VC?
I guess so. I'm not sure how new he is to bagging. I don't know too much about him, but if they are willing to use him here, then I'm sure that they know a little bit more about his abilities than I do. A lot of heavy hitters in this lineup, though.
Definitely. Coming from me personally, both baggers from both teams posing as big question marks for me, as I have never seen either of these players bag in the past. So definitely going to be an interesting matchup to see who comes out on top. I know you're saying it might not come down to baggers, but considering that I have no prior knowledge on the prowess of either of these baggers, it might actually come down to bagging in my opinion. But it's gonna be one of those things that is gonna be too close to call. I definitely want to give the edge to KG for just the running power without taking baggers into consideration. But I definitely, obviously, I have no doubts that VC has the potential to cause an upset.
Yeah, but that's a pretty fair assessment of the match. I'd say probably 2-1 in favor of KG. I think that'd be hype if we get 3 really juicy wars out of this, and ideally they'd all be close, down to the wire. You know, the stuff that everyone loves to watch.
Ideally. So who do you think the players are going to be to watch for each team?
I like watching how Jake and Mora play. I don't know if they're necessarily going to score the most points, but I think that they contribute in a lot of ways to this team that it might be hard to recognize, but I think they're my favorite people to watch on KG's side. On VC, I feel like they're all kind of in a more similar like state. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like the runner and the schlager. They just kind of all are capable of doing everything.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that opinion for VC. All of them, you know, very prominent, strong runners that have been, you know, playing the game for a while. A lot of them have, you know, grinded to really get to the place to where they are today. And you know, I don't think that's a bold assumption to say that, you know, anyone on this team could be, you know, the MVP. You know,
It just depends on, you know, where the cards fall. Is that an expression that people say? It might be. I don't know. You
I mean, yeah, you gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah, you gotta know when to fold them.
Yeah, know when to walk away.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep this big going.
So I guess what we could go into is what do you think the track picks are going to be going into this war, into match 1?
I think from what I've noticed, KG, they take a pretty textbook approach. You know, they like their Maple Tree ways in 1-3. I think they also like Parkway a lot for the Daisy players. Obviously, I think they're really good on BCW. I'd say those are probably their 3 best tracks overall. I think they're really good at tracks where you have a lot of like tight interaction at the start, and you can kind of eliminate the other players from the top spots and then run the rest of the race, because they're all really good at holding their spots and really quick and good at avoiding drafts and snipes, and they're also really good at, you know, at gaining those advantages for themselves early on. And I think Maple Tree Way and Parkway in particular play to those strengths.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Obviously, you know, the Parkway and the Treeway itself being a very good 1-3 track. You know, probably the only good. Well, I don't want to say only good 1-3 track, but it's known as the 1-3 track.
Yeah, we kind of have like an unwritten agreement that it's like the optimal pick. But I mean, I can't really think of anything else that would make sense. So it's just kind of the way things go right now. I was thinking earlier today, do you think as like a side-driven idea we could ever try like maybe random only tracks? Do you think that would be a mess, or?
That'd be interesting. It would definitely eliminate the whole repick aspect. Because, you know, if you're all randoming, you know, anything goes, I suppose. I think it'd be interesting. Are you talking about like randoming just regular tracks or like all tracks?
Yeah,
or
regular
like...
tracks. Like host always
Okay.
wins any of the 32 tracks. I feel like that would be exciting, but it might not be the most balanced way to play. But I do think it's interesting, and it probably wouldn't be worse than some of the other ideas that you could run a tournament by.
No, it'd definitely be interesting to see like how like you take track picks away from like both teams, see how they can like adapt to a track pick based on what spots they got in the prior race, and I think that would, you know, would pose something interesting to look at. How teams can, you know, they really take a track and, you know, run with it, try and make it work in their favor.
Yeah, you know, just improvise. Like, oh, it looks like we're starting in top 2-4 on Desert Hills. Like, you know, what are they gonna do about it? But it's
One
been,
run, everyone drop.
yeah, it's been quite some time now. We're up to 15 minutes, I believe, since this room opened up, and these players are taking their sweet time. We might be here for quite a while, honestly. I would not be surprised at all if this went to match 3. I would not be surprised if there were some delays here and there. So I'm prepared to go the distance.
That makes one of us. No, I'm kidding. I don't know about you, I got places to be. No, I'm good. Fair enough. So you're looking at these both lineups. Is this kind of like your typical, like, you know, war players versus Mogi mains kind of thing, or do you think, you know, because typically see a lot more of the VC members. You know, they're mogieing, but like at the same time, like obviously chanting mogies or playing a lot more mogies is a lot better because you can just avoid more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely have used Lounge as a tool to improve themselves individually, and then when they work on playing together. And that's why, even though like they might, I don't know if they've been around as long as some of these other teams, but they definitely play a lot together, and they're super used to playing with each other and playing around each other, and their chemistry is definitely there. And then
Definitely.
Lounge just fills in those gaps, like, you know, reactions and mechanics and little things like that that can
Because
end up being really important.
Yeah, because you're looking at VC, you know, Ken, Neo, Sane. They were all in, a clan called like Untouchables together, so they've been playing for a long time. So that chemistry has had, a long time to really develop.
That's right. I don't know how that history slipped my mind. I completely forgot that was a team. I don't know
But
why.
then you have like I guess you can say Ornan is kind of a quote unquote newer player. Like he has been around for a few years, but I mean,
Yeah, he's made his way up the ranks of the game in general, I guess.
yeah, he definitely has, put in the work, and he has his very deserved spot in where he is right now, and I think he'll slide in real nice into this lineup.
And finally, the 8th runner, Neo, joins the room. We were waiting on him for quite a while. I wonder if there were any technical difficulties or if they just needed some more time for him, but we're almost ready to start. It's almost go time here.
And we're just gonna see these baggers join, and hopefully we'll be started very soon.
Yeah, some things you can expect to see are KG will probably have people like Javo and Luke switch between Funky and Daisy depending on track availability. They definitely have opted in the past to go for a 2 Daisy setup, 2 Daisies, 2 Funkies, and pick tracks like BC3, BCW, Parkway, even Mountain as well. And I think it's really cool that they have that versatility because that's something that like not a lot of other teams have. Like if you think about the teams above them, like MW, Ethereal, Wallywogs, even they pretty much have all funky Flame Hunter players, and they don't really seem to take advantage of that other aspect of the game as much. All right, and after a long stall here, we are finally about to start the room. I think I'm seeing 10 bubbles with me heads, and it's time to go. I'm excited about this now. There's a lot on the line, like I said. This is for VC. Are they going to make it into the top 8 and have a chance to prove themselves against all odds? I mean, sure, they might have an unfortunate seed, but I think as far as, talent-wise, they definitely deserve to make it there. And they have the chance to deny Darug of the long-awaited pizza party that we were going to have if we do make it into the top 8. And that's right. We haven't mentioned this yet, but we have Jake's POV for the KG side, and we also have Ken for VC, so we're going to be able to see a little bit of action for both teams here, which is always nice. Thanks to that new rule where you have to have at least one player from each team stream the match. Definitely helps us out as members of the media team. Alright, and we do see Maple. Alright, can you hear me? I feel like I'm having mic problems right now. Alright, first race of the first match. Pretty well, and I'm interested to see what moves he's going to make to try to get the VC players behind him out of there. Right away, he loses his item. He's going to be forced to go on without protection, and Murr is going to sneak into first place without getting touched. He must have pulled a golden. I'm guessing he either jumped into cut or got that first set, and now they're already in top 2, and as long as he doesn't get hit here, they should be able to hold this for a while, but it's going to be tough here. A lot of pressure coming in, and he kind of gets stuck on the wall, and he's going to fall off. Ken made that really tricky for Jake. He had almost no room to work with, and every time he tried to dodge one of those greens, he'd get slowed down, and it just kind of didn't work out for him in the end. So Murr is still able to hold down first thanks to that golden early on, but Ken's doing a pretty good job here holding second. Both of these baggers are Funky Kong, so we're not really going to have too much intel as to who has shock unless we see, you know, the players pass by and we see something happening, but I'd imagine that the shock won't be obtained for a while here, because they both reached the IVSA at a similar time. Ken actually just got a ground star in 3rd place, and we see Neo made his way up to 2nd as well, so decent spots for VC. And Jake with his POW here has the potential to increase Murr's lead a little bit more in 1st, and he should be able to last there for the end of the race, unless a shock or a blue takes him out. We see an early Mega usage there. I didn't catch the name on that because I was looking at the other screen, but that was Luke in his Mega. And there comes the early shock that KG decides to just dodge 1st place, get everyone else out of the cannon, and they're going to be getting the better of the items for the rest of this race, so they will have a chance to regain these 2, 3, 4 spots that I think VC had before that. Unless, no, it looks like Javo also dodged up, so top 2 right now for KG, and now it's up to Jake and Luke to catch up, while VC just has to hold them off and salvage whatever they can get out of this. And another ground star, this time for Jake, is going to help them out a little bit. He has another chance to make a move, but a great backspam coming in. So quick from Ken, seeing that he was shrooming up on the right side, and it looks like KG are going to win the race, but it's not going to be that much of a win. You know, we see 3-4 for VC. I think Luke got 5th, and Jake ended up getting last off of that. So that's a great play by Ken to keep the race a little bit close. I definitely think that was a textbook showing from KG, where they just set themselves up to use a good shock, and that's what Murrah did on lap 1. He just got out of there when he had the chance and let the rest of the race play out.
Okay, I'm back.
Alright, cool. I was holding it down solo for a while, as you guys heard, but yeah. I don't know if you saw that race, but that was just a KG shock. They dodged 1st, and Cannon dodged Javo as well, and they got a decent race out of it.
Ooh, okay. So going up plus 11 on the first race, going into KG. That was what, top 2-5 in KG's favor?
Yeah, top 2, 5, 8.
Ooh, okay.
It was kind of like what I said a little bit, where they just didn't really get taken out of the top spots too easily at the start, except for Ken. He spammed triple greens up at Jake on the bridge, and he kind of like tried too hard to avoid them, and he fell off, and it didn't end up being as good for KG as it could have been. And that's what you have to do, because as a runner, you can't determine if your team's going to get the shock or not. So you just have to make sure that the other team can't capitalize as hard as they would be able to.
Definitely. And then coming off of a top 2-5, looks like VC's opting for a Rumble Volcano here. Going against a Moon View for KG. GV obviously going to be able to really tighten the gap on the pack. You know, top 2 isn't going to mean as much because everyone's going to be grinding for shrooms for the rock up.
This is one of those tracks where in Wars, it's really, really rare to see a person hold 1st for the entirety of lap 1, just because the cut saves so much, and there's so much benefit to going forward if you get like triple shrooms, because you could just carry those items up into a good spot.
Definitely, and you know, the rock hop posing as, you know, a great cut to take to hold shrooms, but like even if you don't take the rock, you're still saving a ton of time on, you know, the people that don't.
Yeah, if you fail the rock and respawn, you're still saving a little bit of time, so you know, it's not like your race is over if you miss it or anything.
Definitely not. And then seeing here, Jake, 2 shrooms in 4th, going to be going for this rock hop right here. You know, makes it with ease.
Not the best rock ever, but it gets the job done. You know, the cut saves enough time, and having a shroom in 1st is so valuable that you don't really need to take it perfectly. And so a lot of people do a pretty similar method to Jake, where they just align, and it's pretty safe that way.
Although this POW coming, opting him to use the shroom, he's going to get blued immediately after. Is going to be taking Jake out of the 1st real quickly, though. He's only going to be dropping to 3rd, though. And it looks like KG coming up in top 3 right now.
It's up to VC to crack into these top 4 spots right now, as KG is top 4, and Ken is just trying to red Luke out of there before he has a chance to maybe take rock. They do end up getting Jake right there, on the platform, and now this is the lap where it's KG's turn to start pulling the shrooms, as VC is gonna pass them up with Rock.
Yeah, definitely. And then we're going to be seeing Jake right here grinding for shrooms. Gets a star in the 6th, so if KG has shock right here, this could be very nice for KG. Opts to chain it first set here. Gets some more shrooms though. Blue coming out from Ken.
Yeah, Ken just had time to throw that before he got starred, and that's gonna be really helpful for VC because they were second place, and there is a chance that, I think that's Neo up there, he might have a shroom as well. We're gonna see Jake going for respawn. Let's see who takes it first. It is gonna be Jake, and he doesn't wait, which indicates that KG might have it. Let's see if it gets used here. And I guess they decide not to. They didn't need it. Jake was winning anyway. But a late shock is gonna come in. That's probably for VC. I don't know if they'll be able to gain all these spots back though.
Does look like we're going to be able to see a confirmed top 2 for KG though.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5 for VC. They weren't able to capitalize too hard off of that. I wonder if they had that shock like really early on and they could have maybe used it better, because Ken had his star, right? He dodged in a star, or he chained a star like in 8th, and they might have seen Jake taking cut all alone in 3rd, and if they had TS'd him there, that could have been totally different, but they might not have had shock at that point yet. I don't know.
It really makes you wonder how long did they have shock for, because that's also just a massive variable in that race, because who knows, maybe Orden could have pulled it last second and they opted to, go for the last second dodge, with the star dodge on 8th, trying to get him up there as much as he could. But, if you get a shock that late in the game, it's kind of, a hard thing to really conjure up a shock call with so little time on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely could have been more optimal had they pulled it earlier, but maybe they made the best out of the situation. We don't really know. And I have a hard time keeping track of what the baggers are up to during the race, because I'm not used to focusing on that. But I'll try to keep my eye out a little bit better if we get the chance.
Fair enough, but we're coming a top 2 from KG. They might look at maybe Moonview again.
I mean, yeah, that's a logical pick for sure, and it is what they did last time. And yeah, we are going to be seeing Moonview. Definitely one of the best running tracks. I feel like it's strange, because I feel like teams have kind of figured out the track meta. You know what I mean? So I come from CTs, and on CTs every team kind of has their own set of tracks that they pick, and it kind of becomes a gimmick game at that point, like which teams are going to pick the tracks that no one else knows. But on regs, everyone kind of knows everything. It's just about how well can you execute the game plan as a team.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like people have kind of just defined Moonview as, it's a great track for running, but it's also really helpful to have someone at the back, someone that really go for that gold and then really just spam it all the way up there.
Yeah, speaking of spamming Goldens, this is another track where that is incredibly powerful at the start of the races. We already see VC have moved up into the top 2, I believe. And Jake with this Mega has a chance to turn that around if he can dodge the shock later on, but it's definitely too early to tell which bagger is going to get it, so Jake's kind of going to be in this awkward position where he can't really make any plays. He just kind of has to hold this until he gathers more information from the rest of his team.
Oh, but he should be able to
yeah, he does.
I don't know. He might opt to chain it just to try and get up there, but that's he's gonna opt to chain it.
Definitely makes sense, because again, it's too early to tell if your team's gonna be able to get the shock, and he knows he's gonna be able to catch up to VC. That must have been a KG POW. I'd imagine Jake called that so that he could get himself in the air, and VC would lose their mushrooms in top 2 if they did, pull that lucky triple shrooms first set. So KG doing good work to kind of negate that luck factor early on, and we see Mura is able to come up and overtake first for the time being.
Nice fib attempt from Jake too, coming to try and get Danny right there, but just barely missing the mark.
So let's see. Are the baggers next to each other? Sorry, my POV is kind of pixelated here. I can't tell where the other funky is, but Ken has been holding his star in 8th for a while. I imagine VC probably have it. Yeah, and they did use it right there. They shocked their bottom 3 runners all into boxes. And Ken actually chained a single red here, as we see, in 7th place, which is not an ideal item, but maybe he could use it effectively. But no, the hedges they provide really good cover here, so that's an unfortunate pull for him, and he gets another one.
Definitely, though. Might try and get this red up on Havo. It doesn't look like it's going to connect, though. Pow coming in is going to get Powed after boxes, though.
After
So it's
boxes, yeah. I'm wondering if anyone is getting redded up there. It doesn't really look like it, but yeah, Ken just kind of got hung out to dry after that. You know, his item luck just wasn't there, and he's gonna actually get last place despite dodging in his star. And Neo also got killed at the end. I think Ken and Neo were like their two of their higher spots, so didn't really work out for VC in the end. They
it was
might have still hung on
unfortunate.
to first, but I don't really know how that happened.
It was unfortunate because, he gets the star dodge like early lap 3, and it starts to look fine, but all he's getting is single reds, and then gets Powed after the boxes and gets pushed into the grass by Havo itemless. So at that
hmm
rate, you're just kind of sitting duck.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that Luke did get a drop star from his bagger there at the start of lap 3 when that shock happened, so he was able to hold his high spot and also dodge that red that Ken had. So that's a really good little little boost from the bagger there, even though, you can't always get the shock, but sometimes you still have backup plans, and it's good to see these baggers that aren't really always in the spotlight still making plays like that.
Yeah, definitely, and already like showing in the first 3 races of the war that these baggers are obviously shouldn't be taken lightly, and have already demonstrated a fair amount of bagging knowledge of what they're doing.
hmm I wonder how effective that POW was from KG at the end of lap 1, because we saw, I don't remember who it was, Dane and someone else, I think, in top 2, and if one of them had 2 shrooms, they would have been completely gone that race, and that would have completely changed how VC decided to use that shot, because maybe they would have held it to secure first and then catch up at the end, but we didn't get to see that really manifest.
Yeah, and then heading in the Koopa Cape though, coming in here, this is kind of a pretty good track for both teams since the spots are so split, with the KG having 2-3, VC having 1-4. It's kind of, I don't know, the lesser of two evils, I suppose.
Yeah, people definitely, again, consider this to be one of the more neutral tracks in the list. Although, I think this track is definitely interesting, especially bagging-wise, because people haven't really figured out the best way to play it as a bagger yet. A lot of people will prefer to go back to the waterfall and try to farm those 10th place boxes, and some people will sit in 9th, try to drop stars, get more boxes, give yourself more chances to pull it. And it seems like both baggers are opting for the 9th place strat, which I think is becoming more and more common nowadays, because if you look, we see VC in top 3, and the KG bagger has to make sure that those players aren't getting free stars on the ground if that's what the VC bagger decides to do for them. And so we see that so Shaka's kind of forced to stay at that set in 9th, but Jake's item luck is incredible right now, and he's going to be able to make his way up here. And now it's just Sane alive for VC in the front.
It's also not a bad idea either, because you're chaining more boxes in 9th than the bagger in 10th is getting from those waterfall sets, because you get one box every 5 seconds, something like
Yeah,
that.
pretty much.
So sure, your chances in 10th to get it are better, but you're getting less of a chance because you're not hitting as many boxes.
And I wonder if some teams ever, see that the other bagger is at the waterfall and they intentionally take those boxes away so that the other team's bagger, it kind of gets like starved.
Yeah, definitely, and starts getting a little bit nervous because you're not hitting boxes in 9th, but he's hitting boxes in 10th, and because of the probability of getting it in 10th, it's more likely that they're going to pull it.
So Sane has a pretty comfortable lead here, and I imagine he has plenty of protection. This is one of the tracks where you can get redded really easily from far away, even just because of how open that tunnel is, and there's literally no walls. And this red that Jake just pulled could end up really making an impact on these top 2 spots if their team has shock. But he hits the Nana, and that's huge.
Yeah, Sane definitely getting that Nana off on the waterfall, taking any potential shock red potential away from Jake. Jake does
There
pick
is a
up the
drop
star
star.
though. It's gonna be
Yeah, he's not going to be able to pass him. He's just going to...
Oh, shock coming in though. He's gonna.
Oh,
pass
last
him
second!
more, though.
Wow, he does. That shock was huge, because you see Ken was about to go take cut. He had shrooms as well, and he's not going to pass either of these KG members because of that. And Luke made it up at the end.
4.56, a 1.456 for KG right there.
Something like that. Murrah might have got wheelie bumped at the end or something, but yeah, that was a really smart shot from KG. They held it as long as they could afford to, and they still got first with it. I'm surprised though because we saw, the VC bagger and Ashaka was like sitting in the item set, right? That could have been like a spam shock, honestly, because if you get shock there, 99% of the time you're gonna run away from the other bagger. But Shaka was still kind of sitting in the boxes, and it looked like Ornan wasn't really trying to get shock out of her, unless maybe he just thought it was too risky to use a star there because all the rounds
all
are
the
going
pack
by.
was there, yeah.
So maybe it was a smarter play. I don't know. That's I'm not an expert in that area, I guess.
But yeah, coming up from what you're seeing here, pretty dominant looking GP coming out from KG.
Yeah, every race they just kind of expanded on their lead a little bit more, and they've really shown how well they can execute on these different types of tracks as well. And that's really important. It's not just run and break away or get everyone a dodge and then hope that you get shocked. They have all their bases covered.
No, yeah, definitely. So I mean, as we saw that GP, if they can continue the momentum they have coming into this GP, it's probably just going to be a pretty a clean W for KG coming out of this. But I wouldn't.
What count goes that GP? I'm thinking I think it was 2-2, right? KG got Koopa Cape and Maple, and VC got Brumble and Gardens, and yeah, KG just used theirs a lot more effectively. They definitely gained a lot more out of it. They solidified spots, whereas VC kind of, their shock on GV, we questioned when they pulled it, right? Because that definitely could have been better. And then the Gardens one was good, except it did leave a lot of time for KG to come back at the end, and any items that they had might have been lost to that late POW that we saw.
Yeah, that's something that.
Yeah, that's something that you can't really prepare for. Like, you shouldn't be predicting that the other team's going to pull a POW, but that is one of the things that can happen if your shock leaves time in the race for counterplay of really any kind.
That's just it, and that's one of the harder things about Gardens is that a lot of teams like to really utilize the first set shock dodge, and that's great. But there's just so much track left after that whole dodge to there is so much room for counterplay and to really mess up the dodgers and all that stuff.
Yeah, so RBC starting off GP2, another track that a lot of teams like to pick. I think the simplicity of it really allows players to try stuff out, and we see like look at this line Jake's taking. That's something that the flat and open layout of this track really allows you to kind of have these. I don't know how to describe it, but they're very basic interactions with the players behind you and in front of you that a lot of people really enjoy watching and playing at this level. So definitely, yeah, a lot of opportunities for Jake to make some plays.
Settling in first right now on RBC. Well, it looks like he has a lot of his team around him too. It looks like that's Havo in second, I think. Luke now, okay. And it looks like Luke actually dropped a bomb and completely annihilated a bunch of them.
Yeah, early shock coming in. That's going to be a VC shock. Ken just dodged in a Mega in, I think, third place, and he's got triple greens up there in first, and he's pretty much set now. He should be able to hold this unless there's a blue, and the greens are going to pose a pretty scary threat for the KG members, who I think are in 2-3 at this point, because they're going to be flying all over the place, and it's up to Jake to hopefully make up some of this ground here.
Definitely, and I like the idea of the whole early pressure, getting Ken an early dodge to get up there. You have someone from VC posing that pressure up in the front, and obviously if they're using a shock this early, then Ornan might be chilling in 10th right now at the potential chance of getting a second one.
Oh, we got some shenanigans going. It looks like there's a blue, and Jake just barely didn't go far enough to the side to dodge it, but I don't really know if there was anything better that Ken could have done, because he tried to slam into the wall, and I was confused as to what was happening at first, but I think, did Luke end up getting into first off of that? No, it was Mura. So KG are in top 2 after that. Unless, wait. No, I'm missing a player. There's someone in first on VC. Yeah, because Ken's holding blue.
I will say though, I think getting Jake off that blue is probably the best trade you can probably take if you're Ken right now. I feel like you just kind of have to take that off the grain of salt. Shot coming in though.
Yeah, Jake gave a TC to his bagger, but I mean that didn't really end up changing anything. I honestly couldn't even see who that was dodging in the build. They just flew by so fast, but judging by the amount of VC members back here, it might have been a KG player.
Maybe want to be Neo actually. That's up there.
Yeah, if it was Neo, then I mean that shock kind of only really benefited him. No one else seemed to really have a dodge at that point, and I don't think they were able to salvage that many spots out of it. I don't know. That race was kind of just a mix of everything, you know.
There was a lot of different things that happened, but I like the original, like the lap 2 shock with VC. You know, getting Ken up there, that brings them in the first. You have some presence there, and then it might have also been another VC second shock too on lap 3, because it looked like you had at least Sane dodging, and then someone else dodged as well in a Bill that I didn't quite see because.
It could have been Dane. I mean, I thought I saw 3 VC players in like 5, 6, 7 on the spiral, but maybe I saw Ornan and I got confused. I don't know. Also, I'm thinking that early shot could have been a result of, maybe Ken was forced into his mega because you said there was a back bomb, and maybe he spammed that and they decided that it wasn't worth it to just let KG run in top 2 and continue to break away with, all the turns providing spots for back spams and double back spams, whatever. So, good stuff from KG. Good stuff from VC that race. My bad.
Definitely, having a ton of trust in your bagger, and also a great play from Ornan for securing both shocks as well.
And that pretty much cut this gap between the teams in half. That was really the first time where VC made good use of what they had to work with. Sure, they did get Bill in 8th, on lap 3, but it's all about taking advantage of what you can control, because there's going to be luck every race, and hopefully a best of 3 will kind of let the luck balance out, because it is a lot of Mario Kart.
Definitely, we're going in the TF right here, so interesting pickup going from VC, because I'm not sure what they are. Were they top 2 4 or top 2 5, something like that?
I think top 2 4, and let's see. It looks like Ken was able to draft up into the front. The rest of the VC players got taken out, and it's between Ken and Java right now to see who's going to be able to hold first for the rest of this lap. And I think we should switch over to that. Yeah, look at this. Yeah. Interesting 1v1, and he gets the side red off.
He got the nice side red off Hava right there. And VC's going to jump to the top 2 right here with Ken and Neo.
Yeah, early on, they're already building their lead. Ken just got a nice backspin there as well. And this is one of those tracks where if you do get into a spot like this, they should be able to hold this for the rest of the race. Mura in 3rd place kind of doesn't really pose a threat to them because he can't be pulling dodges. So, if anyone dodges from KG, they're going to be quite far behind. And it's always a risk to go for shock here as well, just because it's a sitting track and you're forced to be hitting the box in 9th. So VC should be set for this race, unless something crazy happens.
Definitely, a couple blues, maybe KG gets shocked for instance. You're probably going to see VC's top 2 potentially try and just create a little bit more space to prevent if there is a target shock and one's not. But there's a blue coming in though, and the blue's going to take out Ken.
Blue. That was Luke's blue. He pulled that in 5th place. We could see on Jake's POV, and also Jake's been holding a star for a while, so I think it definitely is KG's plan to go for a shock just to get VC out of those advantageous spots in the front. And this is where all the plays are going to start happening. Ooh, speaking of which, Ken, Ken's going to lose a lot of time to that bomb because he got no boost off of it, but still time left in the race for anything to happen.
I will say though, the shock stats right now is one massive question mark. We're not really sure who has it right now.
Looking like it's going to be nobody based on this.
Looking like a shockless race.
That one blue was so huge for KG. Even though Jake was holding his star and he wasn't able to get them. The fact that Luke got that one blue turned that from a winning position for VC with that top 2 pretty secured to I think they only were able to hold on to first, and without Shock, the rest of them were kind of just struggling in the back.
Yeah, and it looked like VC almost had that. It almost looked like a bottom 3 for them, but I don't think it was quite. But yeah,
Not quite.
KG being
Murr
able
ended
to,
up in the back as well, but
yeah, but KG being able to secure that 2-3-4, which gonna keep them ahead just by a little bit.
and that was kind of surprising because it kind of looked like at the start of the race that KG were going to be banking on pulling Shock later on, just because Jake held that star for so long. But they ended up making enough plays that they were all still able to get decent spots without it. And, 2-3-4-7 on TF is quite good when the other team gets a top 2 break like that.
Yeah, especially, and good job from KG for being able to completely nullify that top 2 because they had quite the break. So that blue being huge, Also, shoutouts to Murrah, who was able to combo Ken right after the blue to even put him further back in the dust.
I think it's also interesting that, Luke can afford to go for as many boxes as he wants to try to get blue, because if he does get a TC, Jake's right there holding his star, and he can just cancel that out, and then there'll be 2 people cycling boxes, so the chance of them pulling 1 blue was pretty decent in that situation, to be honest.
Definitely, and having that perfect safe ground, one of your teammates holding a star, it's basically just, how much safer could you feel,
Yeah, and then it's just up to those players to have that item strategy going on and still, you know, maintain a close enough distance to the front of the pack where they can catch up if something happens. And they definitely did that. I do
Definitely.
like the gold mine pick. I think this was a VC pick probably because they're 1-8, and that means that they're gonna have their 8th place player taking a box on the zipper on the left and maybe being able to cause some chaos early on.
Definitely, he's Ken obviously, got trip shrooms in 7th off that,
Oh,
and he
switch to
actually took
Ken's POV. This is what we like to see from an 8th place starting spot. He changed his triple shrooms from the zipper to a golden, and he had it in 4th place. So he has totally set this race, and the pack is going to be spreading out pretty much for the remainder of the race. Honestly, no off-road on this track. A lot of places where you can get back spammed. A lot of times, or a lot of spots where you're going to have to sacrifice some time to avoid getting hit.
He gets a
And
nice shroom in 2nd off that, but he's gonna have to try and block this raid. He's not gonna be able to get to it, but
ooh,
that's gonna
yeah,
move Luke in the 1st.
I think he bump off Murrah? Murrah's in. Did Murrah get bumped off twice? Look at him.
Oh
He's. How
my.
did he end up back there? He hasn't made progress on the track in like 10 seconds. That was crazy. Even though he did get the red off on Ken, he just got kind of annihilated because of his weight stat, probably. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Just completely obliterated, you get Ken to the wall, and that's great with the reds, but I guess he wasn't anticipating Ken to have a shrooms to be able to recover himself,
Whoa, that was
and
scary. I think that was his own banana.
just completely gets taken off the track.
Yeah, 2-3 for VC. Yet again, we can see that Jake is holding a star in 7th. Shock is going to end up mattering a lot here just because of how massive this TS ramp is, and whoever gets taken out by that is basically guaranteed a bottom spot. So I wonder if we're going to see anyone slow down here.
We're
We
definitely going to want to
predicted.
see 3rd slowdown from VC, because we're not entirely sure who has it.
Yeah, both teams seem pretty confident that Shock wasn't in play. Maybe the Baggers had some intel that they were feeding their team that we're not aware of, because no one really seemed to be afraid of the target shock right there. And it looks like VC is gonna hang on to 2-3, 4.
2-3-4, looking like.
Yeah.
Looked like it was Dane coming up in 4th, so looking like a pretty solid race for VC coming out of Goldmine.
I think if Ken had realized, because we saw Ken, he pulled that shroom in 2nd because of the positions change when you take left path and then you end up passing the guy on the right when you exit. I think if he had realized that he was pulling a single shroom there, he definitely would have been a little bit more careful and he would have held that green for longer. But he kind of threw it right away and he made himself really vulnerable and ended up getting taken out of 1st, which could have honestly made that race even better for them. But yeah, 2-3-4-5, another really solid race for VC, and this gap is closing right before our eyes.
And they also get the 9th place points as well, so a very solid race coming up from VC indeed. Brings this gap in 13 points. Wow, it is still very much anyone's game.
Yeah, with 5 races to go, the track picks are going to get a little bit less conventional as we go on, but these teams still definitely have their preferences. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, DDR makes so much sense here for being in first place and nothing else. I think this is one of the best tracks for just one player to run on their own without really having to worry about getting shroom passed or drafted or sniped, just because the layout is just so... It's so tough to make a play because you're always doing something else behind them, you know?
Yeah,
It's like the
definitely.
opposite. It's like the opposite of RBC. It's just too complicated.
And definitely, with how that sand hop is, if you have people behind you, if they get a draft, it's just completely deadly, and there's really just no turning back after that. So first is super favored going into DDR, but it actually doesn't look like DDR was picked.
Yeah, BC3, this was a VC pick, and this track is all over the place as well. This is one of the most crazy tracks to watch in Wars because I think the shock really plays a huge part on this race with who can take cut, who can't take cut. Um, and then there's also, there's the duality of the normal cut and the ultra cut, and you really have no clue what's going to happen until we get to see it.
Definitely. So we're seeing Jake holding stream, which is probably going to be very content to hold these for the cut coming up here.
Yeah, and Mora looks like he went to unblock it for Javo and Jake. Normally, Mora is someone that is very consistent at taking Ultra, and he also plays Daisy, which makes that job a little bit easier for him, but Javo and Jake both had mushrooms, so in that instance, it definitely made a lot of sense for Mora to be unblocking that. I think
Definitely.
we saw Neo Golden up into first place for VC, so it's really good that he was there for his team, because if you don't have that one guy who's prepared for the other team to unblock, then this would be like a top 3 break for KG, and
Oh, blue shell coming out for Havo, so that's really going to move Jake in the first with 2 shrooms, which, I mean, looking really good for Jake, though. With that cut
yeah,
still being
there's
unblocked.
no one in front of him to block it. Yeah, he should be able to take it relatively quickly before anyone challenges him and just kind of get out of there.
Oh, but he
Oh, but
gets target shocked!
they just ES him in time. That was really clean from VC. They absolutely needed to do that. That build just narrowly avoids him though.
Also really
So
like that play, Ken coming up, dodging the build, but he's going to get past the TC from Havo. And just right after that build dodge, just going to put him right back to where he started, unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunate for him, but his team is definitely in a better spot than they would have been. We see Mura is all the way back in 8th. Jake got killed by that too, since I believe he missed Shroomless after, and VC definitely have control over a decent amount of the top spots right now.
Yeah, definitely. We see Jake back in 6th holding a star, Obviously, there's going to be a second shock most likely coming in. Whether who gets it is going to be a question that's very up in the air. Shock coming in, though, looks like Jake's going to be dodging up now. Changed to a very nice set of triple shrooms coming in 4th right here. Looks like...
And I wonder if did that shock prevent them from blocking cut though? It did.
It
They used it
did,
earlier
so
enough, yeah. So let's see if Jake can shroom past him from this distance. I don't know. Let's
I don't
see.
think
He
he's
might
going
have
to be
to.
able to.
Oh, he's gonna play it safe. Maybe they have blue. It looks like, yeah, he's spacing out a lot. There could be a blue here potentially, or maybe he's just playing it safe.
Oh, maybe just playing it safe. Maybe he might try and go
Al
for a
comes in.
draft
Can
here
he
coming
draft
up.
him? Sane's gonna swerve.
Sane's not going to give him
Yeah,
any
really
room
well played.
whatsoever.
Really well played from Sane there. That's textbook. Your one job is just to not get drafted. It doesn't matter how fast you go as long as the other guy can't pass you, and he knew that Jake would be fiending for that draft the whole way down the straight, and so he played that really well.
Definitely, also really, really aware of his surroundings too, because you don't know how many times I've seen someone try and swerve and just eat the thwomp.
Yeah, or like get clipped by the little hole in the track. That could have been really tragic. I
Definitely
think
so.
so. I'm trying to understand the play that Jake made where he slowed down. I think that was because KG was calling a POW, and Jake wanted to get himself into last set and maybe POW read Sane. But Sane, I think he ended up getting a box or something, or it just didn't work out.
Yeah, while we're at it though, I really like the first shock that VC did. The shock that TS's Jake going for cut in the first. I don't even think he was expecting that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was absolutely necessary because Jake would have been like 6 seconds ahead in first, and he would have had another shroom. He would have been totally set for first place there if they hadn't used that. And even though they are giving the other team a chance to pull second shock, that's one of the tracks where lap 2 shocks are the most logical, I'd say.
Yeah, that's just it. And you're just with a track like BC3 as well. it's just one of those tracks where you can't give your opponent any room. You know, the second that you give them a break is the second, you know, they're feeling pretty good. They're feeling safe.
And you don't want the other team to feel safe ever. And I think that VC3 is one of those tracks where, like, you know, the state of the race changes so much depending on who has dodges and who has shrooms and whether or not the cut's blocked, and you have to make those quick decisions to prevent things from going wrong in the blink of an eye.
Definitely. So a very good job from VC there to really keep it at a close quarters kind of race for VC3.
Yeah, they held it down, and they pretty much brought back their entire deficit now. 8 points is really not much. We've seen a lot of races that have been won or lost by a margin of more than 8, so this could definitely swing at any moment.
That's just one of those things that you know, VC gets to go into this tournament with everyone really thinking that they're kind of like a black sheep team, you know, because you know KG's been around a while. They're this self-proclaimed very strong team, and you know, for a team like VC, it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't seem like maybe there'd be a chance, but I think they're definitely coming in and proving that they can play with the big dogs.
So a lot of pressure on Jake here to hold first. It's his job to just drive everything well and make sure that he doesn't give up this really important, you know, first place position, because Ken is going to be, you know, gunning for him for as long as he can.
Definitely, and you know, Jake with that really clean cut right there is going to get himself keep first. You know, Hobble gets in front of him, so you know you get a.
Whoa, that was not what you like to see. He got the rare double boost thing on the zipper, but luckily he's still able to keep second. We just saw an absurd amount of stuff going on behind him, and he was just kind of able to run away and avoid all of it. And now that looked like an accident, but
He did play really well though to recover himself though.
Yeah, he was still in a good spot, and that's a great schlag right there. Hitting the brakes, just kind of making himself a nuisance, and Dane just kind of went speeding right into his trail, so they are going to be holding down 1-3 for now. Neo was able to take Ultra and get into second, which is huge, and we can see on our POV that Ken had a TC in fourth there, and everyone behind Jake got slowed down because of it, so this 1-3 for KG is looking pretty set, unless, you know, a blue comes in, or maybe Neo is able to pass Javo somehow with shrooms, because the gap there looks to be quite small.
Definitely, and you know he has this shroom in third, so he will be able to. He might maybe just try and save it for the ends, if you know, shock permitting.
He's going for a snipe, and I don't know what item he hit someone with there, but this red. Let's see, Shaka's still going back, and it looks like Ornan's going forward, maybe looking for boxes in ninth.
That's
POW.
a deadly POW coming in though.
But deadly for who is the question. It looks like both of top two gets taken out, and Jake's just gonna slide on by into first place. I don't know who called that POW or what the intention was, but it ended up working out really well for Jake here, and there's a mega use somewhere back in the pack. A shock could come in now, but
it looks like he gets a back spam off too.
Yeah, he might have been overtaken at the end. We couldn't really see who there was to his right that shroomed up, but his position tracker flashed a second, and if that was a VC member, that'd be a huge swing for them, because the difference between first and second is 3 points, and a 6-point swing this late in the match could be everything.
Definitely, and if it really did pull it off, and let's say VC member did rob first, that's huge, because you know they're only down 8 points before this race, so you know a 6-point swing is. Oh, he does commit the robbery on Jake,
it was Dane. Kind of saving the race for his team a little bit. They did still lose it by, you know, a very slim margin, so definitely still anyone's game. DDR is off the table for VC though. I am interested to see what track pick they'll go with in these spots, because yeah, again, it's like that situation where there's going to be a lot of pressure on Dane this next race to keep his top spot, because it's really hard to have a really good race without being in first, because controlling that top spot and getting those 15 points and being able to spread the pack out behind you and allow your teammates to get good spots is really, it's a crucial part of getting like a top 4 or something, where the other team can't just drive freely and keep their spots.
Definitely, in an instance like that though, if you're VC, it's probably one of those we take those kind of things, you know. You know, but just barely getting first from Jake right there. The 1-5-6-7. Yeah, to really just nullify all the extra damage that KG would have dealt if they got first.
And VC is putting a lot of trust in Dane with the Moonview Highway pick, since he would have 3 KG players behind him, but it does end up going to Parkway, and this makes sense because first has to drive for a long time without getting drafted or hit to make it to the cannon, and I think KG is going to kind of be able to swarm him in first place and probably reclaim that position, or at least make it really difficult for Dane again. Let's see, Dane's forced to swerve. Sane's going to draft up. Javo also is going to draft up, I think, and not as much carnage as I was expecting, honestly. I don't think anyone got hit by anything.
Definitely, no. A lot of players actually playing that really well, because a lot of carnage usually does happen on this track, especially at the start. But Jake opting to drop a little bit and goes back in 7th and finds himself a nice pair of triple shrooms.
Yeah, sometimes you get like there's that one maniac that whips out triple greens and then everyone just starts collapsing over each other. But
the absolute domino effect.
Yeah, this is a pretty civil crowd of players, I guess. I don't know.
For now, anyways, it is only match 1.
Yeah, Jake is hard set on going for an 8th place box, or at least preventing Neo from getting an 8th place box, and that is an interesting strategy on this cannon track, because shocks are pretty predictable here for the most part, so getting Bill can be a huge advantage regardless of whether or not your team has shock. And we do see Murrah is pretty gone in first after lap 1. I'm not really sure how he got there. He might have shroomed up at the end. I know there was a POW that definitely killed some of the players up there, so if he maybe had a Mega or a Star, he could have just, completely avoided that and gotten that break for himself, but Jake is going to be able to make a move up here soon with this Golden, and hopefully, create a little bit of a better situation, as we see VCR in 2-3 for now.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be seeing Jake coming up there really soon, though, with this Golden. It's such a massive time saver on
and this bomb could be huge for VC as well. But Jake is going to be able to Golden up and avoid it, and that bomb ended up hitting no one. I wonder if it would have been, a much better or safer play to just back it, but he decided to go for the big money play, since they do need to make something happen. There's 3 races left, and they have some ground to make up, so let's see. These next few item sets are going to be huge, and a Mega is a great item to have.
Definitely, but a green comes back and actually ricochets Sane, unfortunately.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we're seeing people getting hit left and right. Sane with the triple reds. VCR in 2-3-4. They can't get first out of this. I wonder if Ken's just gonna schlag on the bridge, but no, he just opts to go forward. And I think that was a KG shock. I think they.
Oh,
and they get the blue.
Take out Ken.
That's huge. That's gonna totally obliterate VC. I feel like KG must have gotten a huge race off of that, because they shocked themselves into boxes. Maybe one of them dodged, and with Ken being like the only chance for VC to get a good spot, getting blued, I think that ended up being kind of a disaster for VC.
Yeah, that's definitely an absolutely brutal outcome if you're VC right there, because you definitely Ken with the Mega in second is looking pretty good, but unfortunately the blue coming right after, but still
It
like
wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I guess maybe no one from KG benefited that hard. They might not have been holding their dodges all the way up until that point. I was thinking that it would have been really good discipline from their team to not use the shock just to dodge Murrah, but to hold all their stuff till the end and capitalize that way. But it ended up not being as huge as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
So
no,
VC still have a chance.
Was able to battle it out and really just get as best as they could, considering for that race, and yeah, not too bad. Still down 20 going into the last 2 races, so definitely still more than doable for if you're VC right now.
Yeah, they might need a little bit of luck at this point. 20 points is a lot, and they don't have the luxury of starting in first place to take advantage of that. Yeah, and BCW makes a lot of sense for KG here. It's great for the guy starting in first, who just so happens to be a Daisy player right now, so if Murrah can make it to the glitch unscathed and then take it, he'll be really set in a similar situation to where Jake was on BC3, but this time there won't be time for a shock to come in before Murrah gets there.
Definitely, and going into BC week, and KG obviously feeling probably pretty good with all the the daisies they have here. You know, those glitch takers are going to be a hard priority for VC to want to really try and block it.
Block it, or just create some kind of situation where Mura can't take it. Maybe if they can hit him at the start. And it looks like Ken either drafted or got a good line or something, but he's going to be in first, and it's actually top 2 for VC, so they should be pretty set to just block glitch, and it looks like that's what Ken's going to go do on the right side.
Definitely, something like this, it's almost crucial to do it against a team like KG with these, with these daisies that are really consistent at glitch, and really just completely being able to dominate this track just by knowing such a cut like that. Tip coming up for Jake though, just barely misses the mark on base.
Yeah, being in third here, he's gonna have to deal with a lot of back spams coming in from both of these players, and there is one right there. That was quite close again, but he was ready for the swerve. He's seen that trick before, and he's just gonna be spamming everything he can get at them.
Bomb
and
coming up though, and it is gonna take him out though.
I wonder whose bomb that was. That might have. I don't know. That could have been from anyone, because VC was in bottom 2, and I don't know if they could have thrown a bomb up there from where they were, unless they like completely just yoed it from like the ramp or something. But an early bill as well, and he gets back read off.
And he's off the track.
Jake is pretty much out of the race unless he like makes glitch, and that's not something that you can really rely on. And Ken, on the other hand, has been chilling in first place ever since the first set of item boxes. So he's looking quite comfortable.
Definitely probably feeling a lot better than Jake is right now, I'll tell you that much. Just chilling at first, nothing too much to worry about.
So it's interesting to take note of where Mura is right now, because if KG have shock, they might, use it with the intention of Mura taking glitch, but they actually use it right there. They use it quite early, and that is another ground star for VC.
Definitely, and there's also that potential chance to use it this early to really get a potential chance of getting a second one too. So
we see Ken chaining boxes up here, making sure he can get an item to block the glitch with. That's so important at this point, and it's going to be double blocked. He might get redded though.
And
yeah, he pulled a crib, and he's going to get redded out of first. That's huge. That's KG taking over. What is that, top 2?
And there's a blue coming out too.
Yeah, VC must have been holding that blue for Ken, so it looks like they're only going to be able to get. But Dane comes out of nowhere. He took glitch with his star to get into second, but it gets green off the wall. What just happened?
He's gonna try and secure second here. Does get second, but it looked like he just got random greened, and just all that work that he did just completely just tarnished by that green.
Was it a random green, or did Mura just make like a massive play? Did he throw that? I couldn't tell. It's kind of a little bit small on my screen, a little bit buffery. If Mura sniped him off the wall, that was legendary. If that was a random green, then that was tragic. It was one or the other. Well, maybe we'll figure out what really happened later. But KG definitely got first, and it seems like they did pretty well other than that. So yeah, a huge lead for KG now. Since there's only one race left, it's pretty much going to take a miracle for VC at this point. I think it's mathematically possible. They might have to all run, but yeah, they have one last chance to win this match 1.
Yeah, that's right. You might even be looking at like a top 4 bust kind of situation here.
Yeah, so let's see what track they decide to go to make that happen. There are some tracks that are known for being a little bit more, swingy than others. Like your whole team could just kind of dominate if you all play it well together. But on the flip side, KG is going to be trying to avoid those tracks. It would make sense if we see a cannon track from them, or a track where it's really hard to catch up for VC's bottom spots, and Jake is cycling through. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I'm not sure what he was doing cycling through the special cup like that, but they do settle on DK Mountain.
Maybe some of them were thinking Moonview, and and like, as you see Moonview getting picked right there. Yeah, definitely. Like once you get hit to the back, it's really just hard to come up on a track like Moonview.
Okay, we have the insider intel from the last turn of that race that Dane was going for a snipe on Mura, and the green missed and hit the wall, and he hit himself. So it ended up being
tragic.
Unfortunate. Yeah, I mean that's a play you got to go for though. I respect the attempt at least. We've all had a moment like that.
Wait, if they're plus 31, then they have to top 4-9.
Top 4-9, right? Yeah, that would be a tie.
That's the tie.
And it looks like that's what they're going for. They don't want to put it all on the all run and give KG a chance to get, you know, Shock and 1 star and then just ice the match completely. So they are going to look to fight it out, you know, like men, I guess. That's probably not a good way to phrase that, but they're just going to play the way that they've been playing and hope for the
With that,
best.
you're going to have to hope that Sane can do some work here. Fib coming out almost just
Ooh,
barely
another
missing
close
Sane.
hit.
Get a Mega coming out from Dane that's going to completely squish Jake.
Yeah, a lot of dodges being used for VC especially. They're just trying to, you know, get control of the top spots. Like I said, you need to be holding down those top spots in order to get a big race, and that's why even Neo is using his Bill and 8th there just to get up there. KGR bottom 3 for now, and if Dane can make like a big play, maybe with a back bomb or a stop mega, or if he, you know, blows up a bomb car or something, he could get KG, you know, completely stuck in bottom 3, but
That's
there's
just
no
it.
guarantee.
The last thing you want right now is to be stuck in a bottom spot if you're VC on Moonview Highway.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a very front run heavy track.
KG's only top spot right now is Luke, and if he gets hit by Ken right now, who has no item in second, then that would be really detrimental for KG.
We're seeing Neo with a TC though. Neo's also eating a car.
A huge wheelie lock from Jake, I think. He's so far into the off-road, he just lost a ton of time for... Really, that definitely could have been avoided, but with Neo all the way back there, I think this match is out of reach now, officially.
Definitely, and it actually might look like a curtain call, but there's a blue coming, being pulled by Jake right here, so... Looks like you're seeing... Yeah. Just
VC played that pretty well. They definitely took gambles by using all their dodges early and getting to the front, but, I mean, it worked out for them. I think Shock might have been held by KG for that entire race just because they knew that they were winning without it. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Also, they didn't... I don't know if they really had an opportunity where they needed to use it, but...
I don't think so.
way...
I think they were pretty decently split for the most part of that race, so they didn't really see a need to, because it's more of a... We just need a top 4 spot and we win the race.
Yeah, like, it's probably nerve-wracking being in that spot, right? Like, all you have to do is not get top forward, and it's just like, you don't want to be that team that gets put in a Twitch clip. And once they saw Neo getting hit with that TC, like, all that weight just got lifted off their shoulders, and they were just like, alright, we got this. So they ended up taking it by... I can't do 26? Math. I haven't... Yeah, 26. It's been so long since I added or subtracted numbers. That's kind of embarrassing, honestly. That's what Corona does to you, dude.
I guess so.
But,
so KG taking match 1.
I didn't really keep track of who was scoring the most points. I'm not sure how well my predictions held up or did not hold up. But that was a close match, which is what we expected, and we saw some good shocks, some shocks that weren't as good, but I think it was pretty even, you know, for both baggers, which is also nice.
Yeah, I definitely think the match had this pretty even split. You know, for a little bit you saw KG start to pull away, but then as soon as, you know, they started, you know, the VC kind of just, I don't know, something must have clicked, and, you know, they started making their ways to a comeback. There was a moment where, you know, they were 8 points within reach of the lead, and then I think a few more races later, KG just, you know, was able to get back to where they were, and unfortunate for VC, but I guess those last few races, it was just, they couldn't get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so game 1 of this best of 3 set is going to KG. There's going to be a little bit of time in between these 2 matches just because they have to change hosts and they have to join in the right order and everything. But yeah, VC are in a tough spot now. They got their backs against the wall. They're going to have to win 2 straight if they want to keep their season alive.
Definitely in a very hard challenge to do, especially against a team like KG. So they've got their work cut out for them going into match 2.
KG coming off of a win at that, you know, they have a little bit more momentum, and it wasn't like, you know, they scraped out that win. They were ahead pretty much, I think, from race 1, right? Like, they were winning by different amounts for sure, but they were winning, I'm pretty sure, the entire war, and they were just able to hold it.
Yeah, I think so.
The closest it got was like -8, I think, after GP2 maybe, and then yeah, they just kind of held strong.
Yeah, and then, you know, they just, you know, the KG is such a good team at keeping their composure too, right? So definitely a team where, you know, you can knock them down, but they're going to be coming right back up.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's going to be any strategy shifts from either of these teams. Maybe a lineup change, maybe a bagger change, something along those lines. this is like, you know, they're in the locker room right now talking about what they could do differently. Maybe just trying to keep their heads level and focus on what they need to do.
I don't know though. If let's say you're VC, what are you thinking going in the match too? What do you think you need to improve on?
Let's see. So as far as, you know, mistakes that they made, I mean, I think maybe they just have to be a little bit more opportunistic with their shocks, especially as a team. Because we saw like GP1, they weren't able to capitalize that much. Other than that, though, I mean, I think if they play their game personally, because I mean, they looked fine from my perspective. Like they were in decent positions a lot of those races. They were definitely not choking by any means. So I think if they just play solid, they definitely have a chance to win it if, you know, if it works out for them.
I have to say I'm on the same page as well. Coming from like the standpoint of, you know, watching that war, I think VC to their own regard, they played that war fine. I think, you know, a few of their shot calls were a little bit on the side, but I mean that's bound to happen, right?
Yeah,
So I think,
because 26 points is again not much, and you know they earned the points that they got. So I don't really think they need to change too much. They just need to maybe sharpen up a little bit here and there, take a few more risks maybe, and just keep playing their game. I think they have the chance to bounce back still.
and yeah, for now we're just gonna take a small little break up until match 2, and as for that, we will see you all momentarily.
Yeah, stick around, guys.